Happy Wednesday to all my hackers out there. Now, originally this battle was supposed to be guest narrated by my two very good friends, Tony and Rich, but I'm sure they won't mind if I narrate this myself just because this is the last battle I have at the moment, and I can just give them another battle to narrate. But this battle is about 2 months old, and it was against KosherRyan. Now, I don't know if Ryan has a YouTube or not, but if you do it and stumble across this video, then please leave a comment down below. But yeah, anyways, he's going to be leading off with an Arbok, as I'm going to be leading off with my Ferret. Now, thanks to my Frisk ability, I'm able to see that he does have the Choice Scarf, so I'm not going to go for the trick right off the bat. I'm just going to go straight for a return, and he actually ends up getting a burn with the Fire Fang, but as you'll see, I do end up getting my own bit of return hacks, and I end up critting him, which I do believe the burn and the crit both didn't matter because it possibly could have changed the outcome of the battle. Who knows, but it's already set in stone. So yeah, this turn he's going to go into his Claydol. Now, since he more than likely is just going to go for Stealth Rocks, I'm going to go onto my Yuxi, and I'm going to try to get off a Toxic on the Claydol just so I can be able to whittle it down. And he does opt to stay in, which had me thinking that he's probably going for a Toxic of his own. But no, he actually ended up going for a Light Screen, which automatically tells me he's got Light Clay over Leftovers, and that he's a dual screen set, which means he either has Rapid Spin or Earth Power as his only offensive move, as I'm just going to go straight for the Psychic, and he's going to go into his Charizard. Now, obviously I'm pretty positive I can take anything Charizard wants to throw me, and I'm going to go insane and go for a Thunder Wave, but as you saw there, he does get a crit with the Shadow Claw. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys, sorry about that. But yeah, he actually, it's a fact that he's carrying Shadow Claw, it's just weird enough. But I'm assuming he's just going to go for another Shadow Claw, so I'm going to switch out into my Sand Slash. But no, he does reveal to be mixed because he did go for a Fire Blast. So I know next turn, because he is paralyzed, I can outspeed and go for a Stone Edge and easily obliterate the Charizard. But I end up missing, and then my Sand Slash does get KO'd by the Fire Blast. Now, me missing that Stone Edge does end up playing a bit of a role later on in the battle. The main role is that now I cannot Rapid Spin rocks away, and I do have a Mandibuzz, and I do have an Aerodactyl on this team. So I have to be careful on how I play those because the rocks are going to be doing a very significant amount of damage to them. So I'm going to switch out to my Rotom sub up. If he wants to switch out, I'll be behind a sub. If he wants to stay in, he can either get paralyzed or miss the Fire Blast. But as you saw there, he does hit the first Fire Blast. But luckily on the second time, he does decide to stay in. He does get paralyzed. And that's what you get for messing, for playing around with your chances. And I'm going to be able to kill him off with a Thunderbolt next turn. Now since I am at a low amount of HP, whatever he brings in, I will freely Pain Split. Now, he did bring in the Claydol, and I know you're saying, why didn't you go for the Shadow Ball and KO it? Well, a timid Rotom hitting a Shadow Ball and a full HP Claydol, sorry, is not a surefire one-hit KO, and since he was around 99% HP, I know that it wasn't going to KO him, so my best bet was to go for the Pain Split, get HP, and just allow him to set up his dual screens, which Light Screen is going to prove to play a bit of a factor in the following turns. And this turn he did die off to the Toxic as he goes out to his Dusknoir now. Because he does have the Light Screen up, I am fairly positive he will easily be able to take the Shadow Ball like it's nothing, but I'm still hoping it'll do a significant amount of damage, and it does end up doing around 40%, not as much as I hoped it would, but I'm fairly positive if I was modest, then it would have been an easy 2-hit KO, but oh well, hindsight is 20/20 at this point. So I'm going to switch out to my Ferret just to scout out to see if he wants to go for a Shadow Sneak, or maybe he'll go for a Will-O-Wisp, predicting me to switch out. But he actually ends up going for the Protect. So next turn, I know he's going to go for another Protect just to see what I want to do, and I'm going to reveal to him that I do carry Trick, so he automatically knows that I am going to be a choice set. So if he wants to switch out into something else, it's going to get crippled. If he wants to leave in the Dusknoir, then it's going to get crippled. I don't care. Something's going to get crippled by my Choice Band. But then again, I did trick a Choice Band to a Dusknoir, which again could be physically offensive, so I have to watch out for that later. As this turn, I'm just going to leave in my Ferret for Death Fodder, unfortunately, but oh well, what could I do, honestly? So I'm going to switch out to my Yuxi, and because I am max defense, max HP bold, I know I can easily take a Choice Banded Thunder Punch and go for a Toxic, but he ends up switching out into a Mungus, which, again, I should have gone for the Psychic and not gone for Toxic, but oh well. Now this is where my Sand Slash missing that Stone Edge really does matter, because now I'm not able to send it in for Sleep Fodder, which was going to be my original plan. So I am forced to switch out to my Mandibuzz as Sleep Fodder. Now I also could have switched out to my Aerodactyl for Sleep Fodder, but I knew that that was the best thing I had to combat his Lantern if it was at low amount of HP, because I do have the Life Orb Earthquake. So I'm going to switch out to my Yuxi, knowing I can take a Sludge Bomb and knowing I can take a Giga Drain fairly well. So he's going to double switch out into his Lantern, and I'm going to go for a Toxic. Again, I don't know why I went for a Toxic when I knew he had Amoonguss. I should have just gone for the Psychic, but I was playing very straightforward and making some very stupid plays. I will admit to that, but oh well, at this point it's already said and done, so it really doesn't matter. As Psychic turns out to be around a 3 to 2 hit KO. Now, I'm hoping if I do get max damage on this Psychic, I will be able to KO him, as he reveals to have the payback, which I found to be a bit odd just because Amoonguss really doesn't have the best physical prowess, and I did take that like a monster. So I know next turn I can easily take a Body Slam and go for a Psychic, but he ends up critting me. So this turn, I'm going to be forced to go for the KO Bell because I thought that if I KO the Amoonguss, he can easily just bring in Dusknoir and go for a Shadow Sneak and KO my Uxie. So I have to wake up my Mandibuzz, so I'm just going to fodder off my Uxie, then bring in Mandibuzz to Brave Bird the Amoonguss to death. But no, I do end up living the Body Slam, and I know next turn I can take a Payback, I can take a Body Slam, and I can take at least a Giga Drain once. So I'm going to stand and go for Psychic, and you guys guessed it, I get fully paralyzed. So he critted me, paralyzed me, and then fully paralyzed me. Am I the only person who has that much bad luck? And then above that, he's going to get a crit with his Giga Drain, which, be it that it didn't matter, he still gets a crit. 4 turns of hacks in a row. Oh! But whatever, it doesn't end up playing that big a role later on in the battle anyways. It just makes this battle a little bit tougher for me to deal with, but whatever. So I know at this point, I'm possibly backed up into a corner, so I have to start fighting out of that corner, and I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird and easily KO the Amoonguss. Now, if he had Effect Spore, luckily that does not activate because Regenerator is not released, so if you did have that, then it doesn't play a role at all because I was able to KO it. So this turn, since I'm hoping that I will be faster than Lantern, I'm going to go for the Roost, and luckily it turns out that I am, and I'm able to get rid of my flying ability. And I did speed this up because it's just me roosting up and Toxic stalling him until I feel comfortable enough to switch out into my Rotom and be able to get a Pain Split off on the Lantern, which I believe is this turn. Not really too positive. So yeah, okay. I do switch out. So next turn, I'm hoping that he will not paralyze me with the Discharge or will not burn me with the Scald, so I can get a Pain Split off on the Lantern and be brought up to almost full HP. Now, spoiler alert, he does reveal to have the Heal Bell, and he doesn't reveal to have the Rest. So I don't know what his last 2 moves were, but if they were Heal Bell or Rest, he didn't go for them, which I don't know why you wouldn't go for them, but whatever. I do get a Pain Split off on the Dusknoir. Now, be it the Dusknoir don't have the best HP, I don't get that much, but I don't want to switch out to my Mandibuzz on the off chance that he does predict that and go for a Will-O-Wisp, because if I get my Mandibuzz burned, then that could possibly prove to be a bit of a nuisance. But then again, if he burns me, I won't get paralyzed by the Discharge on the Lantern. So since he is locked into the Shadow Sneak, I can freely bring in my Mandibuzz and go straight for a Brave Bird. And at this point, I'm just going to keep roosting up, just stalling him and hitting him with Brave Birds. Now, because he didn't go for Heal Bell, I was thinking he's got Rest, which could have been really, really extremely problematic, just because I know an Earthquake coming from an Aerodactyl will not be a one-hit KO, but I do have the taunt on my Aerodactyl, so I could have just taunted him to prevent him from going for the Sleep Talk. So yeah, it doesn't really end up playing that big of a role, I suppose, as he does end up dying off to the Toxic, and his last is his Dusknoir. Now, since Shadow Sneak was unable to KO me, I will be able to get off a Roost, the next turn get off a Toxic, and just Toxic stall the Dusknoir to win. And he knows this, so he is going to end up running, I believe, this turn. So that was the 2-0 victory in my favor. Very good game, KosherRyan. Again, I don't know if you got a YouTube or not, but if you stumble across this, please leave a comment down below, and I'll make sure to leave the channel link in the description. So yeah, with that, guys, the like button is down there, and the subscribe button is up there. One final thing, for those of you who are subscribed to my friend, Mike Deck is here. He actually called me out on his Cypher, on the Pokemon Cypher 2012, so you can expect that coming from me and another one of my good friends, Minorities in Paris, Pokemon Cypher 2012 coming soon. So look out for that, guys. And with that, I do believe I am out of here. Later.